Jamie.
Hi,
You
Helen.
grew up in Belfast.
Mhm.
What childhood memories does this film bring back to you?
Well, it's interesting because we're obviously through the movie depicting a time at the very beginning of a conflict in 1969 where normal people were thrust into this awful situation that they didn't ask for. I was born in 1982, sort of almost bang in the middle of a 30-year conflict that, again, normal people weren't wanting, but it had become elevated and gained so much traction and become this awful, moving sort of beast by that stage. But I remember growing up in a similar way to Buddy, just not quite understanding why we were in that situation. Like, he doesn't understand the origins of it when you really are confused by it, but then being born into it and where you feel like nothing's been sorted out, people still having the same very strange ideals about why they're fighting. You just don't understand as a child, But I was very, very fortunate because I went to an integrated school. So my school was half Catholic, half Protestant. Well, and a whole mix of other international students too. So I was really lucky. I had this broad spectrum of ideas and understanding at my disposal. But I guess that's just finding it hard to understand why these people are fighting, because most people just want to live in peace. So that definitely resonated with me.
Do you remember the moment you wanted to leave Belfast?
Yeah, I think when I realized I wanted to leave, I've been away 20 years now. So this is the first year of my life that I've lived more away from Belfast than I lived there. I think it's when I decided, I went away for uni for a year, to university, and dropped out after a year. But that taste of being away and believing that there was more to be achieved outside of that place was probably around then. So I was 19 years old. And it wasn't easy, but something within me knew that there's more sort of opportunity to chase after what I've ended up doing now and to enter into that world. It felt at the time Belfast wasn't the right place to do that in, but it was a very difficult decision, and as it was a difficult decision for Ken's family to make that choice to leave in 1969. But at the time, it felt like for what I wanted to do, Belfast wasn't the place. But a lot's changed in 20 years. This is before my show, The Fall, shot there, Game of Thrones, all this huge stuff that shoots in Belfast. Now, if you want to be an actor in Belfast, you could live there easily. But when I was wanting to do it, it wasn't the right place.
How would you describe the Irish sense of humor, and what is your favorite Irish meal?
We've needed humour. I think that's the case for all the history of Ireland, beyond from the repression and what Ireland have been through and how we've been treated by people who have been in power, then to the beginnings of Northern Ireland in 1921. They've often been on the back foot, and I think we've looked to humour for levity to deal with some of the hardship that people in Ireland have been put through. So humour is very quick to people from home. It's necessary. It's often quite dark and very sarcastic often, and often doesn't travel that well. Sometimes our humour doesn't work when we go to other parts of the world and end up looking a bit silly. But I love it, and I love the people for that. And we got to show it in Belfast last week, and just being surrounded by that humour is a very good thing for me. If you're from there, I loved it. My favourite Irish meal, I tell you what, this is a very Irish meal. But if I'm not feeling great, I make this all the time. Bacon, champ, which is an Irish dish, which is mashed potatoes with scallions chopped up into it and lots of butter, and buttered cabbage. It's like an Irish sort of farmhouse meal, like peasant's meal almost, like from back in the day, but makes me very, very happy. Probably not great for your heart to be having that meal every day, or cholesterol, but I loved it.
Sounds delicious.
It's
Thank
good.
you so much. Great seeing you.
Thanks,
you,
Helen.
Jamie.
Bye. Good to see you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.